morning. Welcome to the Alstom plant in Thunder Bay. I'm so pleased today to be able to introduce at our site, leader of the NDP, Mr. Jagmeet Singh, as well as Justin Roberts, Unifor present for local 1075, sorry. I'd like to start first by acknowledging that we reside on the traditional territory of Fort William First Nation, signatory to the Robertson Superior Treaty of 1850. Alstom acknowledges the history that many nations hold in the areas around our site. We are committed to a relationship with the Indigenous people based on the principles of mutual trust, respect, and collaboration in the spirit of reconciliation. So I'd like to hand it over to Justin Roberts. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Justin Roberts, and I am the president of Unifor Local 1075. I am representing the workers who work here at this Alstom facility making transit vehicles. I'm here to say that in order to protect local Canadian manufacturing, good union jobs, and maintaining servicing capacity of subway trains in Thunder Bay, we are calling on the federal government to step forward with its share of funding for the replacement subway trains for the TTC's Line 2. The province of Ontario has already pledged $758 million for the new Line 2 subway trains, conditional on the federal government doing its part. The province and the city of Toronto have reached this deal many months ago, but we are still waiting for the federal government to announce its commitment. Thousands of workers here in Thunder Bay, where the subway trains are made, are depending on the federal government to share its share of the project. This includes myself and the members of Unifor Local 1075, who have a proud history of building great transit cars here in Thunder Bay. I happily join my voice to call on the federal government to offer us workers in Thunder Bay the certainty and stability that we deserve. It's time for the federal government to join us in securing the future for these workers. Thank you to Jagmeet Singh and the NDP for amplifying our call today.
Thanks so much, Justin. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Alstom. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Unifor. As Justin laid out, we believe that workers need predictability. You should be able to go to work and know that you'll have a job today, you'll have a job tomorrow, and you'll have a job in the future. Right now, workers in Alstom don't have that. And we want to make sure that workers know that they're respected, they're valued. And what we can do is, I believe, you got to make decisions to make sure workers are put first, to make sure good union jobs are put first. That's not going to happen on its own. And so my vision is, anytime you see a streetcar, anytime you see a subway car, anytime you see a SkyTrain, I want to see a plaque on that says proudly built in Canada. I'd love to see it say proudly built in Thunder Bay. I want to make sure these workers get that respect. And right now, as Justin laid out, we've got a federal government, Justin Trudeau and the Liberals, that have been a stick in the mud. They're slowing down this process. We got a deal that's ready to go, and it's waiting on the feds. And Justin Trudeau and the Liberals are just delaying. And it means that these workers don't know what's going to happen next. That could all be resolved immediately. That's what we're calling on today. We need to see rules in place that ensure that workers are a priority. So we want to see Justin Trudeau and the Liberals use the existing powers that we have and say that let's have 25% of content for things like our streetcars, for our subways. Let's see that for subway trains. Let's see 25% Canadian content. Let's see that used. Use that power that we have. You know, when it comes to Conservatives, they don't want any rules. They want the free market to decide, and that means workers get put to the side. We want to see protections in place for workers. We value our Canadian jobs. We value Canadian manufacturing. But we're not going to have Canadian manufacturing unless we back it up with real policies. So our ask today, clearly to Justin Trudeau and the Liberals, is put the funding forward. Stop delaying. And let's make sure that not only is there funding, but you use the clause that allows us to have 25% Canadian content. And so let's ensure that these workers here in Alstom, here in Thunder Bay, get those jobs. Let's ensure anytime we build public infrastructure, we create good union jobs so that workers actually can build a bright future for themselves and their family. That's what we're here to talk about today. And so my message is very clear. There's a project, Line 2 in Toronto. There's over 50 trains that can be built. Let's see them built here in Alstom by these Unifor workers. Let's see good jobs in this community. Let's make sure we're building Canadian products, building Canadian manufacturing, and building it back up. I'll do that again in French, and then I look forward to your questions. Premièrement, merci à Lindsay, merci à Justin, merci à Unifor. Je suis tellement fier d'être ici. Merci à Alstom aussi. Donc, ma vision pour le pays, c'est d'avoir des travails, des bons emplois ici au Canada. Je veux appuyer les syndicats et les travailleurs syndicalisés. Pour moi, c'est clair qu'on doit produire les produits ici au Canada. Mais ce n'est pas quelque chose qui va arriver sans avoir des politiques claires. Donc, dans ce cas, il y a un projet à Toronto où la province et la ville de Toronto ont déjà s'engagé à l'argent. Mais Justin Trudeau et les libéraux n'ont pas s'engagé. Donc, la barrière pour aller de l'avant, c'est Justin Trudeau et les libéraux. Et ce que je veux voir, c'est quand on voit des trains au Canada, on a des trains qui sont produits ici au Canada par les travailleurs syndicalisés au Canada. Donc, mon message est clair. Je sais que les conservateurs ne veulent pas avoir des règles pour Pierre Poilievre. Ils ne veulent pas avoir des règles qui protègent les travailleurs. Je ne suis d'accord avec cette position. Je pense qu'on doit avoir des politiques et des règles qui appuient les travailleurs. Donc, mon message est clair. Justin Trudeau et aux libéraux. On doit avoir des financements pour ce projet. Vous devez promettre cet argent pour aller de l'avant et vous devez utiliser la clause qui dit qu'on doit avoir au moins 25% de contenu canadien. Ça va protéger les travailleurs au Canada. Ça, c'est notre message aujourd'hui. Allez de l'avant, arrête la barrière et investir davantage pour les travails des bons emplois ici au Canada. Merci. With that, I'm ready for any questions you have.
Okay, we're going to start with questions on site. We'll start with CBC Thunder Bay.
Yeah, just following up what you said about the delay in funding being released. What beyond sort of amplifying this call from the union can and will the NDP be doing when you get back to Ottawa?
Yeah, we're going to keep on putting the pressure on. And there's every single Liberal, every single MP in Toronto is a Liberal. Why are the Liberals taking Toronto for granted? Toronto needs this project. On top of that, Canadian workers are left in the lurch, not knowing what's going to happen next. These are unionized workers. These are good jobs. Let's make these investments in Canada to create good jobs in Canada. So we're going to keep the pressure going. We're going to continue to ask questions on this. We're going to put pressure on Justin Trudeau and the Liberals to deliver. Why delay? You got the province on board, the city's on board. Why is the federal government delayed? There's no reason for it. So we want to see action. We want to see investments. We want to see jobs in Canada. We want to see good union jobs in Canada, and we want to see rules that protect workers.
Follow-up.
I do a follow-up. Obviously, a no confidence motion being tabled this afternoon in Ottawa. Will the NDP be supporting it?
No, we said before, we're not going to play the conservative games, and we're not going to support Pierre Poilievre, who wants to cut healthcare, cut pensions. I think things are bad right now, and they are. With Justin Trudeau, Pierre Poilievre would make things even worse. He wants to let his corporate buddies rip off people even more. He wants to let corporate grocery stores rip you off when you try to go in and buy your groceries. He wants to let corporate landlords rip you off. It's clear what he wants to do is cut and gut the things that you need. He wants to strip dental care away from seniors. He wants to take away healthcare that people need. He wants to privatize it. So no, we're not going to play his games. There will be an election, and there'll be a choice between the vision of Canada where we give people hope and relief, where we build up stronger pensions, we fix our healthcare, or conservative Pierre Poilievre who want to cut pensions, cut healthcare, cut the things that people need.
Okay, we go to TV News.
Hi, thanks for taking my do appreciate you taking my question today. Speaking of an election, of course, we don't know when that's coming. It is planned for fall of next year, but I think one issue every Canadian has their eye on is the carbon tax. Currently, it has been a talking point between both Liberals and Conservatives, and it's conversation you've been in quite a bit over the past week or two. I know you were quoted as saying that you don't want the burden of the carbon tax to be put on the back of working Canadians, which I think most Canadians can get behind, but it has been found that about 80% of people get more back in those rebates. That still means 1 in 5 are paying more, but exactly how is the burden currently on the back of working Canadians in your mind?
Well, we look at the approach of Justin Trudeau. His approach has been one to divide the country. Started giving advantages to people in the Atlantic region that pit that region against other parts of the country. I think that's divisive. I think that's wrong. And we see what he's doing in terms of who he's giving an advantage to. Big oil and gas companies continue to get billions of dollars of public money. That's wrong to get public money when they're highly profitable. Why are we giving public money when we're in a time when we should be investing in Canadians? We got lots of things we got to deal with. Why are billions and billions of dollars going to these highly profitable, not just highly profitable, record profit making oil and gas companies? So I think that's wrong. I think that's unfair. And I also think that Pierre Poilievre's approach is to say, big polluters should do whatever they want. When he says he doesn't want to have any consequences for pollution, well, people in Thunder Bay know there's consequences. We've seen extreme weather here. We've seen extreme weather across the country. We've seen flooding and extreme heat creating forest fires. So we're seeing the impacts of the climate crisis now. To say that you want to let big polluters off the hook is also wrong. So we're going to put forward our plan. Of course, we're not in an election yet, so we'll put our plan forward when there's an election. But our plan is going to do a couple things. One, we want to make sure workers are protected and supported. We want to make sure there's good union jobs. We want to make sure that people's homes and their jobs and their livelihood and their ability to earn a decent living is protected. We also want to make sure that big polluters are paying their fair share. And finally, we also want to make sure that we're reducing emissions. Justin Trudeau and the Liberals have missed every single target. So that's going to be our plan when we put it forward. We'll lay that out before an election. Paula?
Yeah, maybe build on that a little bit, staying with the carbon tax. While it's a very divisive issue amongst voters right now, there still seems to be the consensus amongst most Canadians that climate change is an issue that needs to be addressed by the federal government. Can you build on the plan that you mentioned, specifically tackling those big polluters? How exactly can you do that when the Liberals can't seem to be getting it done?
Well, I mean, we saw a lot of examples of the Liberals caving to big polluters. So there was an article that came out that said that Liberals were considering putting a excess profit tax on big oil and gas companies. We pushed them to consider canceling the big subsidies that they're getting, but they backtracked. The oil and gas lobbyists met them in Ottawa and then they backtracked. So clearly they don't have the strength, they don't have the courage to take them on. We do. We believe that we got to make sure that we are putting our country's needs first, and that means not giving free money away to highly profitable companies. What we should be doing is investing in projects like here in Alstom, making sure we're building streetcars, we're building subways, we're building trains in Canada by Canadian workers. That's where we should be investing that money instead of giving it away to companies that are making record profits. That's the wrong approach. So we've got our priorities in line. We want to see action to fight the climate crisis. We want to see jobs protected. We want to see investments in Canadian manufacturing, and we don't want to see any more public money being given away to highly profitable record profit-making companies.
Okay, we're going to go to the Zoom line next.
Perfect. So just a reminder to please use the raise hand function to ask your question. Un rappel d'utiliser la fonction lever la main pour poser votre question. We'll go ahead with Davis with iPolitics. Please go ahead.
Hi, thanks very much for taking our questions today. Mr. Singh, the Bloc has made their conditions for continued support of this Liberal government known. The Liberals haven't yet committed to their demands, but we at least know what they are. I know you said you're not looking for another supply and confidence deal, but is the NDP's support moving forwards conditioned on anything in particular?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. So yeah, you're right. We're not looking for any deal. The deal is torn up. We're not looking for any new deal. Any bill that comes forward, we're going to negotiate to find a way to get as much possible for Canadians. So as the bill comes forward, if the Liberals need our help, we're going to negotiate to find ways to give people the help they need. But we'll take a look at every bill, every motion, and make a decision based on what's in the interest of Canadians. We're not bound to anything now. All bets are off. With the Bloc, let's be really clear. They're looking at a minority government over 2.5 years, and they got nothing done for people. They can't point to a single thing they got done. And so now they're scrambling at the 11th hour to say, oh, shoot, our electors are going to ask us, what did we get done? And they got nothing done. So now they're trying to make it like they care about pensions or they care about this or that. What we can show is we fought and got people dental care. We're moving forward on pharmacare. We got workers at the federal level paid sick days. We can show a clear track record that when we are given the opportunity, we fight for working people, we get them relief. The Bloc is now trying to show really clearly they got nothing done, and now they're scrambling to show that they're relevant. And clearly the evidence shows that they're not.
Switching gears a little bit, there was a new poll out from Abacus Data this weekend that showed your party had passed the Liberals outside of Quebec, but continued to trail the Bloc, the Liberals, and the Conservatives within Quebec. I'm wondering why you think your party has struggled to make any progress in that particular province.
Well, we know there was 2 by-elections recently, and we were the only federal party in those 2 by-elections that were competitive both on the island of Montreal and in the suburbs of Winnipeg. The Conservatives were nowhere, a distant 4th in Montreal in that by-election. We were within a percentage point or 2 of winning. And in Winnipeg, we beat the Conservatives despite them throwing everything at us. We showed the Canadians rejected their offer for Canada, and the Liberals were a distant 3rd. So next election is going to be a tough fight, no doubt. But there's a clear choice. The cuts of Conservatives and Pierre Poilievre, cutting your pension, cutting your EI, cutting your healthcare, or do Democrats who want to strengthen healthcare, strengthen your pensions, want to improve EI, that's the choice.
That was the last question online. So this concludes our press conference. Ceci conclut notre conférence de presse. Merci. Thank you.
Thanks so much, appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Good job.